I lead my show off today with what you can see, the blue background, the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football squaring off. We saw it. I tried to warn Dallas Cowboy fans. I said this game probably not going to be particularly close because I went in on Dak Prescott. And still, Dallas Cowboy fans, they are just now they're starting to get it. Now they're starting to get my message. Last night, I follow a few Dallas Cowboys accounts on Instagram. I've befriended a lot of those people in the Dallas Cowboys community who respect what I have to say, but also disagree with me. All of that friendly discourse is not only welcome, it's appreciated. So I see some of their stuff that they post on social media. And last night, one thing caught my eye. I can't remember his name. I follow him on social media. But he posted last night just a quick recap. He does it every single week. And basically he said, time is running out on Dak Prescott. And it took everything, every fiber in my being for me not to post. In fact, I even typed it out. I even typed the whole thing out and then said, no, I'm not a fanboy. I don't comment on things. That's not what I do. I don't want to get in fights in comment sections with people because I'm not going to change your mind, and you're probably not going to change my mind. What's going to change my mind is stats, statistics, and play on the field with some of the eye test, of course. But what I wanted to comment on there was, no, time isn't running out. Time has ran out. And so I get labeled a hater from the Dallas Cowboys. And it's like, no, your team is good. I have no problem saying the Dallas Cowboys are good. I have no problem saying Micah Parsons, at minimum, a top 3 defender in the NFL. I've got no problem saying Tony Pollard, massively explosive. CeeDee Lamb, probably the best wide receiver after the catch. Maybe him and Deebo Samuel kind of switch off on that 1A, 1B, but either way, I can give the respect there. I can say Dan Quinn is an awesome defensive coordinator. Mike McCarthy, he's just meh. He's not bad. He's not great. He's somewhere in the middle. I don't think he loses you games, but I don't think he schemes up stuff particularly well to win you games. Dak Prescott has always been the problem. Dak Prescott has never been a part of the solution. Dak Prescott, as a rookie and on those rookie deals, and before he started getting the franchise tag and before he got the big money in $40 million large. It used to be called Dak Prescott money. Now it's called Daniel Jones money. Dak Prescott doesn't show up. So Dallas Cowboy fans, help me out because I'm always slow to the train. Who are we blaming? Because it used to be Kellen Moore, and I told you it was a mistake letting him go because the Chargers offense looks pretty damn good, and the Cowboys offense looks like a BB gun offense. So we can't blame Kellen Moore anymore. He's gone, and his offense is awesome. Mike McCarthy, right? Okay, Mike McCarthy, he said he didn't call a great game last night, but I'm not going to blame Mike McCarthy for throwing a ball into deep center field where a safety is basically playing outfield, just fielding the ball for a pick. Are we blaming the defense? Okay, well, I guess the defense didn't play particularly well, but the defense doesn't sling the ball. The defense didn't throw 3 interceptions. At one point, they were just demoralized knowing that they had an offense that couldn't bring them back in the game. The defense has carried them through 3 games in which they won. And Cowboy fans tell me, they always tell me, well, we don't need to worry about Dak Prescott. We just don't need to worry about Dak because our weapons and our defense will carry us to a Super Bowl. No, and that's never been true. Outside of the outliers of a Nick Foles, of a Trent Dilfer, of a quarterback that isn't a top 8 quarterback, it generally doesn't happen. So don't point to the Trent Dilfers and the Nick Foleses of the world and point to that as the rule. Those are the statistical anomalies. Those are the exceptions. The rule is if you have Patrick Mahomes, if you have Jalen Hurts, if you have Justin Herbert, if you have Joe Burrow, if you have a top 8 quarterback, you can compete for a Super Bowl because at any given week, you can be told, save us. We need help. It's the old T-Mac ads. T-Mac, save me, save me. If you remember, if you know, you know. Dak Prescott can't do that. Dak Prescott is incapable of doing that. And so what I've told Cowboy fans, and I said a couple of weeks ago on a Cowboys Nation podcast that I was a guest on, which I just got ruthlessly jumped on, but it was kind of funny, is you cannot rely on defense and your weapons to save you every week. Because this game has always been about slinging the football and who is distributing the football. And Dak Prescott is incapable of putting a team on his back 2 times this year. 2 times. Dak Prescott was asked to put the team on his back, not rely on the defense so heavily, and save them. And both times he came up miserably. Throwing the ball to Kaiser White, who was triple covered in the end zone. Interception, lost the game. Of course, they blame Mike McCarthy for that because everyone is to blame except for Dak Prescott. And then yesterday, 3 interceptions. Even the one that was tipped was a terrible pick. The man was never open. Just throwing the ball blindly. When the things are good in Dallas Cowboy land, things are humming. The best front runners in sports, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott cannot and will not ever put you on his shoulders and say, don't worry, guys, take the game off. I got this. You know who can do that? Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. Those quarterbacks have all been able to do that. Kyler Murray, before you get upset with him, took a buffoon of a head coach in Cliff Kingsbury, a roster that was not very good, and took a Cardinals team to the playoffs. Dak Prescott has never done that. Dak Prescott has never, ever had the ability to put people on his back and say, come follow me. And at this point, Dak Prescott's mobility is out the door. He just simply is not a mobile quarterback anymore, which made him great. And Dak Prescott doesn't have the arm to make you pay if he is not able to also run the ball and make you commit halfway because you're not so sure if he's going to take off with his feet like he used to be able earlier in his career. And now at this point, I'm not so sure Dak Prescott is a top 18 quarterback. He's bad. Dak Prescott at this point is worse than I thought he was. So I want to just name all the quarterbacks right now that I would take over Dak Prescott. This year, I want to name all the quarterbacks that I would take over Dak Prescott simply because they're just better or a combination of they have an easy contract that is beneficial to the team that will help them cultivate talent around said quarterback if they were on the Dallas Cowboys team. Because reminder, Dak Prescott makes $40 million large. Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence are all more talented guys like Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and that brings me to the other guys. The guys that don't make any money, but are clearly either as talented, could do the same thing as Dak Prescott, or be able to be beneficial enough to use the money that they're saving on them to help add other key pieces. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy, and it's not close. We'll get to that in a second. Sam Howell in week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals put the team on his back last drive of the game for a game-winning score. For the last drive of the game that the Washington Commanders had, he went down there, put the team on his back, scored, beat the Cardinals in week 1. And don't say anything because Dak Prescott couldn't do that. Threw the ball to Kaiser right in the end zone. So I want to harp on Brock Purdy. I owe Brock Purdy half of an apology. Because here's what I'll say. Brock Purdy is much better than I thought he was. He is a very precise passer. He's obviously off the chart smart when it comes to football. And I've never been afraid of saying I was wrong. And I was half wrong on Brock Purdy. I still think that he's a product of Kyle Shanahan, but it doesn't matter because he has Kyle Shanahan, so you can't use that against him. He's not losing Kyle Shanahan anytime soon. He's not getting fired. And the talent around him, I mean, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, you've heard the whole story on and on again. That doesn't even talk about the defensive players that he has. Fred Warner, Javarius Ward has been good, Dre Greenlaw. I mean, it just goes on and on and on for the Niners. They're stacked with talent, but here's what I am going to say. Brock Purdy is better than Dak Prescott, and it's not close. The gap between Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy is the Grand Canyon. He's more precise. He's more mobile. It seems like he's able to read a defense, and schematically, he knows kind of what's coming. It seems like possibly he's in the film room more than Dak Prescott. I don't know that to be 100% true, but what I've seen from him pre-snap, I like Brock Purdy more. I've seen him audible out of situations and say, you know what? Let's give this ball over to CMC. That's part of being a quarterback. That's part of recognizing a defense, knowing they're in pass coverage, or dropping guys back and going, CMC, go on out there. It's tough for me to say because I saw a play last night for Brock Purdy where he dropped a ball in a bucket to Deebo Samuel before Deebo Samuel was even looking. Anticipation was there, and completely in all three phases, the 49ers outplayed the Cowboys, and in every phase of being a quarterback, Brock Purdy has surpassed Dak Prescott, and it is not particularly close. The Cowboys are fraudulent. They have no chance of winning a Super Bowl because they will have to go through the San Francisco 49ers, and beating a team twice is hard unless you're the Niners and you're playing the Dallas Cowboys. Brock Purdy is miles ahead of Dak Prescott as a thrower, mobility, pre-snap. It's not close. Dak Prescott has taken a huge step back. I don't want to hear about his interception numbers, which now to this point aren't even good either. 4 interceptions through week 5, and he promised us he wouldn't throw 10 this year. Tip for life: don't make promises you can't keep because you end up looking really dumb.